Well, listeners, there is a tour coming up that we know that you are very, very excited about. Suffocation are of course, coming back to our shores, and they're bringing with them Revocation for an absolutely amazing tour that we know that a lot of you are very, very excited about. And we thought tonight we would actually get Dave from Revocation on the phone to chat about this amazing tour. Welcome to the program, Dave.
How's it going?
It is going really, really well. Now, it's only a matter of about a week now before you actually hit our shores. How are you feeling about heading back to Australia?
Very excited. We always love playing Australia. It's just, fucking beautiful cities. Crowds are great. And you guys love fucking metal there, which is great.
Now, you guys always deliver an absolutely amazing show, and I know a lot of people have said that you haven't heard Revocation until you hear you live. Tell us a little bit about that evolution of your live sound. Is that something that you guys hold really, really dear to hear people say that about the band?
Oh, of course. I think that's the highest compliment you can receive, is that you're just as good live as on record. So we really pride ourselves on the live performance, and we certainly rehearse a lot before tours, and we make sure we have all of the little nuances down. And even when we're on tour, we're still kind of refining things and tweaking things and making sure we stay up to snuff with all of the intricate material that we got to play.
Now, talking of the intricate material, of course, from your last album, that last album was still a pretty full-on album, but at the same time, there was a little bit of a progressive element to it as well. What's that been like, bringing those tracks into your live set?
I think the new material has been going over really well. We've been playing a good handful of songs off of Nether Heaven, and yeah, they certainly elicit circle pits and moshing of all varieties. So I'm pleased to say that the new material is hitting hard in a live setting.
Yeah. Did you find it difficult at start to play those tracks live? Like, did it take something different to sit down and learn how to play them live, or was it just the same old for you?
I think it's always difficult bringing in new material to a live setting. Of course, we work on it in the rehearsal space, and we're really under the microscope when we're recording it, but playing it live is a whole other different beast. So, it just requires a lot of practice and a lot of focus and attention to detail. And I think sometimes you just kind of have to play the songs a few times, even in the live setting. There's certain things that I guess you just can't really fully rehearse for in a practice space. Certain things that maybe kind of might be surprising even to us, like performing something live, even just how different songs go over, or even the order of the songs. Sometimes you just have to kind of change up the set list so that it flows a little bit better in order to incorporate the new material. But all those things, they just kind of develop over time as we're playing the material. So I would say it's kind of a constant evolution, a constant work in progress when we're initially bringing this stuff in. But now we've obviously had a lot of shows under our belt with the new material, so it's sitting really nice.
Definitely. And of course, the other side of that as well is you guys have got 20 years of music behind you. So when you bring in new tracks, other tracks have got to be taken off that set list. Does that become difficult for you guys to sit down and work out, especially for a tour like Australia where you don't get to come every year? Is it difficult to work out what to leave out of the set list?
Yeah, it's tough because, like you said, there's so much material at this point. But what we always try to do whenever we have a new record out is play a bunch of the new stuff and try to pick from our catalog songs from older records that fit well within the set list. So we really try to craft everything and curate it around what makes the most sense, what's got the best flow to it. If that means sometimes we play 2 or 3 songs off of the outer ones and only 1 song off of Deathless or Great Is Our Sin, so be it. Sometimes we just had to skip full records entirely. But luckily I think we tour enough and Australia's been such a great market. So if you miss us or if you miss a song on the set, hopefully next time we come around, it'll be in there. But again, you never know, because probably by the time we come back, there'll be a whole new record out, and there'll be a whole new bunch of songs to choose from. So basically, just don't miss the show. Come see us every time, and you won't miss out.
Definitely. That was going to be my question for a little bit later, but I'll ask it now. Of course, it was 2022 when Never Heaven came out. Have you already started working on a new album? Like, where are you with that at the moment?
It's funny you should mention that, because we just finished recording the drums for the new record. We had to kind of put the rest of the recording process on the back burner, obviously, since we left for a European tour, like immediately afterwards, and now we're going into the Australian tour. But as soon as I get back, well, firstly, I have to finish up the recording for my other band, Gargoyle. We're doing a sophomore record for that band. So I finish up the Gargoyle recordings once I get home, and then it's straight into the new Revocation record.
Awesome. So that must be pretty big for you, working on two albums at the same time. Do you kind of feel pressure with that?
Yeah, I mean, the pressure's on, but at the same time, I feel like I do good with pressure. I mean, I set my life up so that I'm a professional musician. So recordings, tours, teaching, it's all part of the game to me. And luckily, recording, it's a very worthwhile endeavor for my spirit, I guess. I don't know. I love to be creative, and I love hearing the songs come to life. So as much as it's a laborious process, it's also certainly a labor of love.
Definitely. Now, talking of pressure, they're billing this tour that you're doing with Suffocation here in Australia and New Zealand as one of the most brutal tours of this year. Do you feel pressure when they put labels like that on a tour at all, or does that not worry you at all?
I mean, buzzwords and things like that, I don't really get too caught up into that. Like, oh, what if we're not the most brutal tour? I could give a shit. I think it's people know what we bring to the table. People know certainly what Suffocation bring to the table. I can say it's gonna be a fucking night of ripping death metal. That's for goddamn sure. And I'll let other people be the judge of whether it's the quote unquote most brutal or whatever. But it certainly is going to be. If you're a fan of death metal, it's going to be a lovely evening for you. I'll put it that way.
Definitely. Now, I noticed as well that you get a night off between your shows in Melbourne and Adelaide. So what do you like to do when you have a night off like that on a tour, especially when you're in a country like Australia that you said before you love? Do you like to head out and explore the sites? So what do you like to do on a day like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll like to go exploring. Maybe I'll try to find a restaurant that's been on my list, or something that someone's recommended. Certainly I like to kind of hitting the bar scene and just, meeting up with some friends, from the tour package or whatever. So there's so many things to do. And like I said, Australia is such a beautiful place. So, with so many great landmarks. I mean, I've seen the Sydney Opera House, quite a few times at this point, but it's always, just such a magnificent, structure to visit, especially, overlooking the water there and the bridge in the background. So, I mean, there's certain sites that I've seen several times that I like to just go back to and revisit, just because they're so beautiful. So, yeah, kind of all of the above. I like to do like the touristy stuff. I like to kind of hit the off the beaten path things, and sometimes I just like to kind of roam around with no plan in mind and just kind of see what I discover on my journey.
Yeah, you've had such an amazing career here in Australia as well. You've got so many amazing fans. I know I've been hosting this show now for close to 20 years, and your music has been a huge feature of that because the people out there want to hear it. Are you aware of that relationship that you have with Australian fans?
I mean, I can certainly feel the energy when we play there. People are really appreciative, and they definitely go off live when we're when we're there. So it's great to play for Australian crowds, and I'm really appreciative of them. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing when anyone connects with your music. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the Aussie crowds are just real vocal, and And I don't know, you guys just like to fucking throw down, which is always fun.
I was going to ask that. We do have a little bit of a notion around the world that Aussie fans go nuts at shows. I know people have talked to me in the past about seeing people in wheelchairs being lifted up for crowd surfing and stuff like that. Do we live up to that reputation that we're pretty crazy at shows?
Of course, you guys go hard. So I want to see that. I want to see that energy in a week's time.
Definitely.
I know you won't let me down.
Well, mate, we're going to play some more of your music right now on the show. But to finish off the interview, what would you like to say to people out there who are A, heading along to the shows already, or B, are yet to buy a ticket? What would you like to say to them?
Well, I would say don't miss this lineup. I mean, it's going to be. Some are calling it the most brutal tour of the year. I don't know if you knew that. So, no, it's going to be fucking great, man. Don't miss these shows. We're going to play a bunch of material from Nether Heaven as well as some older tunes. Suffocation, always bring it live. I think we're a great fit together. Yeah, keep your ears open for new Revocation music coming next year.